than that. But that's why you want to save your ult for things like that. Now you have Vision of Eye, so you know you're safe. But you don't really want to roam down there. And you know where she's going because you just saw her head bot, so it's better to ping the Diana herself. And now that you know she's down there, it's way too late for you to follow, so better choice, yeah, correct choice is to go. You want to shove this in as quick as possible. You know there's 4 bot. So you want to get this in. And then now is actually, like, you could use, if you had Tibbers, you could use Tibbers to quickly take this tower. He AoE burns down the minions, so the minions aren't killing your minions faster, and he adds DPS on the tower. So you've got him up in 6 seconds, and with no one... I personally would just cast Tibbers right now and use him to take the tower extremely quickly. Just to make sure you get it. Although it looks like they've got so much response to bot lane that you might get it anyways. Oh, because the tower's killing all your minions. Yeah, so I think Tibbers there would have secured it. Sue is missing. They may have backed. Interesting. It's a very slow response time to you. They've had people up. Yasuo never died. Just this level, I guess. But yeah, that was the good move. Was to you were late and you didn't have the ability to follow, so you just stayed mid, and then getting those levels gave you the catalyst passive, so you gained your health back on top of your natural regen. So you're not as low as you were, but I mean, if you leave, you're likely going to give up your tower. So shoving in, backing. There's no wards. No one responded to Dragon. And that would have been the better call. I don't know what your team was dancing around mid for, trying to get blue buff, or what they were doing after they got a few kills with diving. But it definitely would have been good to, grab the jungler. They killed Vi, and so you kill Vi, and then you go straight to Dragon. There was no need to chase 2 towers down. Now they've got 5 bot. You don't know where Diana is. You do now. This is when you should... I would personally think you should be going bot. I mean, now they've already killed 2 people, so it's a bit late to go down there because it's still going to be the 2. But they're going to try to take that bottom inner. They need help. And it's because you're low on your and you've got Diana in your face. And you're late on the MAA call. So now is when there's no reason for you to go to that tower. But the pressure's gone mid. You know Diana's going top to collapse on Rise. You should have been going bot already. Because you sitting at this tower doesn't really do anything. You have enough. You're sitting on 1800 gold. You could either have, the needlessly large rod and that massive boost of AP into your burst, or you could, ideally, you'd want to finish Roa since you start that path. I mean, it's just taking you so long to come back and buy that you were useless while they were roaming around, killing Rise, getting the bot tower, getting those 2 kill bot. If you had backed sooner, you could have been doing more for your team. I think at this stage in the game, the blasting wand is the wrong call here. You probably want to upgrade your boots just because Annie's so reliant on speed, and because you need to do more roaming, especially from the mid. You need to be able to rotate bot, rotate top. You don't want to be sitting there on someone like Annie just farming. Even though you do have the highest farm in the game. It's not something you need. You need your mid to snowball these other lanes, especially when it's 5 to 13. This is where you get into the point where you're saying, oh, I did well because, you're 0 and 2, but the rest of my team is feeding. Well, they need your help. You know what I mean? Diana's been bot, Diana's been top. She's not 2, 3, and 1 in lane. She's 2, 3, and 1, outside of lane. So This is when you should have casted your Q. See, you want to make sure your stun's up before you cast any of those spells, and that flash was a complete waste. This is actually just rather embarrassing. You're not going to catch him, because you haven't upgraded your boots. So I would say when you were, like, now your stun's up. What that vibe was doing. But while you were rotating over here through the woods, and you knew Yasuo was over there, and that's who you were collapsing on, that's when you want it to, you kind of need to grab this. I would send Tibbers in with the minion wave. Just with using Alt R to get the more pressure on this tower. Yeah. I mean, this is risky. You're going to lose your mid-inner most likely for Go. For that top tower. That bot lane though, they could definitely use some help sooner, I would say. I mean, they're down. They have half the farm and they've given 5 kills over to Varus, and the Sue's 4-0-1. It's gonna be real tough. I don't know who's calling for this pick, but it's a very risky option just because of the synergy Yasuo and Vi have. So you never face check bush. Yeah, you needed to move because your auto attacks weren't doing anything, and your Q and W, maybe not the W, but the Q definitely would have been blocked by that, and probably your W as well. I mean, you got your burst down, you got your stun, that was a good pick. But once the wall goes down, you gotta move around that. And your bot lane is getting absolutely wrecked. I mean, at this point, you've got to do something, just because that's just gonna keep Stillborn out of control. If take 5 down there and just shove those 2 lanes in and force 5v5s. And just hope that your Kha'Zix and Ryze and yourself are going to be able to carry harder than the Varus, Braum, and Yasuo. Especially if you can make the picks down there before they react. If you can get 5 down there before, that's a Q. Or Tibbers. You really love dropping Tibbers. And this is where your not upgraded boots are still hurting you. I mean, at this point, I would suggest, I would have done much sooner, was taking the 5 and just overpowering them, especially in solo queue. If you can grab your 5 people and use it to bash 2 people in the head before the other team can react, you can get a real snowball advantage on that, which is why teleport on top lane is so helpful, because you can, get your jungle and your mid to go from mid down to bot lane and have your top teleport in, and get a 5v2, and even if they escape, you get the tower. Especially if their top laner is too slow to react, or top laner just teleported to their own tower. And that's how you can force, a lane that's behind to, get the objectives. And I don't know what your sport's doing, but there has been absolutely no wardage down there. They don't even have a sightstone yet. Welcome. Welcome to your division. I mean, you want that farm, so that would be a time to just W it. Alright, you got your stun. See, that's a spot where Tibbers would have been needed, but you were late on casting, I guess, because Tibbers was walking over there. Why are you pinging him off? They have so little life, it could be easy catch. It's embarrassing. So you're like, when you see people like that, especially if you have a chance to make a pick, dropping the Tibbers then with the stun. Like, that's what you need to get better at if you're going to use Annie, is having the stun charged and dropping Tibbers on their face. And then following up with a W and a Q on whoever you're trying to kill. And then you can use your E after that to recharge your stun. I mean, you say that you didn't farm that batch of minions with your W because your stun was up, which is what was the good call. But then you either stun with W or something, because maybe you got the R stun off, but you were getting womboed while you should have been womboing. And Now you're just fighting for CS with the ADC, which is not ideal. I mean, your team should ideally be going for Dragon right now, at least to contest it, because most likely they're going to be there, or headed there at least, and your team has no vision of it. Yep, there you go. Just being aware of things like that. I mean, you gotta be the awareness for your team, especially at these levels. Getting your team together and making picks, using your spells to make those picks. Like, using all this on lack of vision, getting picked out in the jungle, having 2 heal down bot. Synergy. This is when things like, you know, surrender things come out. Because, I mean, it's 23-10, you're getting aced. And just take off your own jungle because you don't have vision. I mean, did the support even buy a Sightstone yet? Nope, still no Sightstone on the support. So your division's not likely to get better. So you're not going to see those teams coming around. You're not going to be able to make your picks on someone like Yasuo, who is probably the most dangerous just because of his wombo potential, or Virus, who's fit out of his mind in the ADC and can deal consistent damage. And even Diana. I mean, if you ignore Diana, she's gonna get dangerous, sitting on 2,000 gold. But just doing what you can here, building towards Rabadons right now. Where DFG would probably be. It's not a horrible choice. I mean, making a pick on Braum isn't anything. I get he's an option, but you're really just gonna be trying to catch someone. If you have no, there was for another 17 seconds. Yeah, you put the damage on the wrong one. You want to put the damage on the Yasuo. Because Braum was gonna get away once you were there in a stun. It's interesting with the Fog of War turned on, I can still see their pings. 325 Annie. But no help for either of the lanes and trying to counter their snowball. When you have a team that's pretty good at making picks, you don't really have a team that's great for protecting Cog, who is still shoving blind bot lane with no idea. Yeah, I don't know what your Cog is doing. This is when you gotta just boss him around with pings. Or just, if he's gonna be stubborn and stay bot lane, take the entire team bot lane with him and take those towers. Nice combo. That's what you need to do. Now you should be telling Tibbers to go over there. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. And now Yasuo. I don't know what you're doing. You gotta be using Tibbers a bit better, bro. And you're like just kind of like walking back and forth. I mean, you got the couple picks, and you're either gonna get collapsed on and need to leave, or you should have been trying for the tower. And now you have Diana behind you. I don't know if you're stun out in the wrong way. If the team wasn't gonna stay there to keep that going, you need to just run. And then you need to be aware that you're going to get collapsed on from behind. I don't know, like you decide to randomly finally start trying to get the tower, but you, at that point, you had already let them, you know, come back up from their death timers and start, you know, collapsing on you. And then miss your stun when you know she's trying to land her Q on you. Her RQ combo. You don't have to stun with W. Like, you can use Q for the targeted stun if you've got one on you. Probably should have gone with home guards. And be running out there to help defend. Looking pretty bleak. Because I don't really understand, like, I guess you're going for Void Staff at this point, which, not that it doesn't make sense. That sucks. Probably could have saved that if you just left the the base sooner rather than trying to get your stun up for a fight you weren't trying to fight, apparently.